We'll see you.
Gotten rid of you earlier.
Big circle.
Did you hear me, John? It feels weird. I know. All right. Mayor? That's what it used to be. I can hear a lot better. When you guys say first and second. We have. Man, I feel weird here.
The April 18, 2023 meeting of the City Council of the City of Springfield, Illinois is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk, if you please call the roll.
Will do. Alderman Redpath.
Here.
Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman Fulgenzi.
Here.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Here.
Alderwoman DeCenso.
Present.
Alderman McMenamin.
Here.
Alderwoman Connolly.
Present.
Alderman Donlin.
Here.
Alderman Hanauer.
Here.
Mayor Langfelder.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, a quorum is present.
Is there a motion to allow Alderman Fulgenzi to join the meeting by phone?
Second.
Moving second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. First item on our zoning agenda is docket number 2023-008 for the property located at 1516 Watch Avenue. Petitioner is Morgan Russell. Present zoning classification is R2, single-family and duplex residence district, section 155.017. Requested zoning relief reclassification to B1 Highway Business Service District, section 155.033, and a variance of section 155.063. Required yard for lots adjoining residential districts to allow side yard setbacks of 5 feet instead of the 20 feet per code, and 155.480I, landscape screening and lighting regulations, transitional buffer yard requirements, and landscaping to allow the reduction of the required transitional buffer yard from 10 feet to 0 feet. If reclassification is not afforded, consideration for a use variance allowing construction of an accessory building on subject property when the primary residence is across the street instead of the adjacent to the left or right. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is denial. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is deny the B1 and instead grant a use variance with the condition spelled out by the petitioner in the caveat that occupancy of the detached garage be limited to owners within the existing block or immediately across any streets bounding this block. Chair will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the planning and zoning recommendation to make it as implied.
Second the motion.
Been moved and second to accept the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation to deny but accept the use variance. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the request passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is 2023-009 for the property located at 2804 Clark Street. Petitioner is Don Curtis, LLC. Present zoning classification is R1, single-family residence district, section 155.016. Requested zoning relief reclassification to B2, general business service district, section 155.034. In the alternative of reclassification to B1, highway business service district, section 155.033. And a use variance to permit office and warehouse use on the subject property. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is denial, as submitted, but approval of the alternative relief, a reclassification to B1 Highway Business Service District, Section 155.033, and a use variance to permit office and warehouse use on the subject property. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is accept the recommendation of the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff. Chair will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve with the conditions of the Sangamon County Planning Staff.
Second.
Been moved and second to approve the recommendation of the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff. And second, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the ordinance passes, or the zoning request passes, 10 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is docket number 2023-010 for the property located at 73 Celeste Court. Petitioner is Kyle Kluzik. Present zoning classification is R2, single-family residence and duplex residence district, Section 155.017. Requested zoning relief or variance of Section 155.068B1. Garages and accessory buildings or structures to leave in place 3 structures as outlined in the petition within 3 feet of the property line setback. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is denial. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is grant the petition as submitted. Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we accept the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation for approval.
Second.
Been moved and second to accept the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation for approval as submitted. And second, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion vote yes. Those opposed vote no. The voting is now open.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the zoning request passes 10 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is docket number 2023-012 for the property located at 3400 and 3420 Gateway Drive. Petitioner is Springfield Gymnastics Center. Present zoning classification is B1 Highway Business Service District, Section 155.033. Requested zoning relief or variance of Section 155.101B. Required accessory off-street parking, amusement facilities, bowling alleys, gymnasiums, skating rinks, and swimming pools to allow 102 parking spaces instead of the 152 spaces required by code. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning amended staff recommendation is recommend approval limited to use of a practice facility. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is approval of amended staff recommendation limited to use as a practice facility. Chair will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion that we accept the staff recommendation.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation. And second, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion vote yes. Those opposed vote no. The voting is now open.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the zoning request passes 10 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is docket number 2023-013 for the property located at 1351 South 8th Street. Petitioner is Springfield Clinic LLP. Present zoning classification is R5B, General Residence and Office District, Section 155.021. Requested zoning relief, a variance of Section 155.311B. Non-illuminated nameplated and identification signs, 155.314, illuminated signs, and 155.315A and C, residential and office districts sign conformance to permit illuminated wall signs on the east, south, and west sides of the building being constructed on the subject real estate that are no longer than 70 square feet each and do not extend more than 25 feet off the ground, along with one illuminated monument-style ground sign that is no larger than 70 square feet. The 3 wall signs would total approximately 210 square feet, and the monument-style ground sign would total no larger than 70 feet. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval as submitted. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is accept the recommendation of the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff. Chair will entertain a motion.
Yes, I move to accept as submitted.
Second the motion.
Been moved and second to accept the request as submitted to the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion vote yes. Those opposed vote no. The voting is now open.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the zoning request passes 10 voting yes, none voting no. And that concludes our zoning portion of the meeting. This time, the chair recognizes Treasurer Busher for the presentation of the financial report.
Thank you, Mayor Langfelder. The corporate fund in the month of March had a beginning balance of $70,432,274. We had total receipts of $11,292,740. We had total disbursements in the month of March of $14,337,810, which left the corporate fund with an ending balance of $67,387,204. Of that ending corporate fund balance, Mayor Langfelder, your ARPA fund balance included in that is $21,599,047. This concludes my report, Mayor Langfelder.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the financial report?
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next, we do have a presentation from Andrea Eckert with, regarding the Capitol Complex. She's the state architect on the project. Appreciate her taking time to give us the update.
Thank you for having me here. Again, Mayor Langfelder, my name is, and older women and men, my name is Andrea Eggert, and I'm the architect of the Capitol. I'm here today to give you a short snapshot of all the work that's happening on what I think is one of our crown jewels we have here in Springfield. So, next slide, please. Thank you. So over the course of the last over 130 years, we've seen many renovations to the State House. Just as you can see in the picture above, that's the East Wing, what used to have a large set of stairs that went up to the second floor that's no longer there. However, the renovations that we're doing to date is the largest that's ever going to be done. And it's going to have a huge and significant impact on both our visitors of Springfield, local citizens of Springfield, and hopefully tourists from across the U.S. I work for the General Assembly, so the House and the Senate. I'm the director of a legislative agency called the Office of the Architect of the Capitol. I was hired about 3.5 years ago really for two tasks, and that is to complete the master plan that was shelved at 75% about 10 years ago, which I'm proud to say finished up last fall, and then also to continue the renovations of the State House. For those of you who have been around for a while, you're probably familiar that in 2011 to 2013, the renovation of the West Wing happened. And at that point, we had goals and objectives, and those same goals and objectives are really for the north. They include life safety improvements, so fire alarm upgrades, fire sprinklers. About half the building currently doesn't have sprinkler coverage, so it's in the state's best interest to make sure that we fully cover that building in case of an emergency. We also will restore the integrity of the building. So as some of you know, mezzanines were added in the late 60s and early 70s that really took away some of that historic fabric in those spaces. And those mezzanines, just like the west, will be going away in the north. Actually, I was just in there today, and most of them have been removed. We are going to upgrade all of the ADA accessibility. So the state made a promise to the Federal Department of Justice over 10 years ago that we would work to making our State House fully accessible. And that includes 60% of our exterior entrances to be handicap accessible. Unfortunately, right now we only have one. But again, we're moving towards making that improvement for all of the citizens of Illinois to be able to enjoy this jewel that we have in Springfield. We also will add on to the north entrance. We'll tuck it kind of into the facade, but a new visitor's entrance. So a place that kind of greets people with open arms, allows those excited school groups to come into the Capitol building. The rally groups that we see here, grace us with their presence in Springfield, and just to allow the streamlined people moving through the building, which will also include a new tour guide video room. Just like other landmarks, you can go and sit down and watch a short clip about the history of the building. We'll upgrade mechanical and HVAC, plumbing, roofing, all of the things that need to be taken care of that we really haven't touched in 50 to 70 years that are by far outliving their lifespan. We will also be adding a new underground conference center, so hopefully we can offer space to the public for a meeting space, additional space for both the legislative and the executive branch to be able to meet. And then with that also comes a new underground parking garage. As we move towards trying to incorporate a lot of parking underground and just gain that valuable green space close to the state capitol building, we want to try to remove some of that on-surface parking. This is a rendering of what that new north entrance is going to look like. As you can see, the north drive is gone. So one of the things we're also going to improve is security. We've had many security consultants over the years tell us that that north drive is just too close to the building. We want to make sure that people who visit and work in the building stay safe. However, you can see on the screen that we'll have an at-grade entrance from Monroe, so we'll be able to have bus traffic safely drop off groups. They can make their way into the Capitol building in a new entrance kind of nestled within the grade of the north lawn. We also have ellipse sidewalks that are strategically placed to dodge around all of the historic trees that we've determined are too valuable and that we want to save. It also creates an ADA accessible path for people to get into the building. The plaza you see on the top, that it can be a place where someone could have a networking group, or a member can invite constituents to hear a short speech. Again, just trying to incorporate more public space areas for meetings and impromptu discussions. This is a rendering of the north entry. We're looking to the south, so this is at Monroe level. We will, again, you can see those large retaining walls on the east and the west holding back the earth as we're just trying to nestle this building addition within that north facade. We'll be using a lot of the same materials that are on the existing State House today to make it look like it wasn't just added, but it's been there for a long time. This is the new entrance hall. So this is where people will enter, be greeted by an information desk, where someone can ask where a member's office is or how to schedule a tour or to navigate around the Capitol building. And then this is just an overview of the significant impact we're making, not only on Monroe Street, but really all around the Capitol Square currently. The schedule is we started in 2021 in the summer with a preliminary project with a local contractor here from Springfield, R.D. Lawrence. That project's just now wrapping up. We're waiting on, like everybody else, electrical equipment to show up. We've had some generators on order for 24 months now. We're hoping someday they arrive. Phase 3, 1 and 2 were combined due to the pandemic. Phase 3 is the underground parking garage, which is just to the north of the Stratton building. It's a large hole everybody's been driving by, and really the necessity for the 2 tower cranes that we see in our horizon currently. And then phase 4, which is our final phase, is the full north wing and that new underground conference center and the new visitors entrance, plus a renovation of floors 6 all the way through to the basement. With that, I'll take any questions.
Alderman Donlin.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, and thank you very much for being here. This is extremely exciting. It's long, long overdue. The project reminds me of, just looking at the renderings, and you've showed them to me in the past, reminds me a lot of the recent changes to the U.S. Capitol.
Yes.
Sort of that underground entryway and the ways to traffic visitors into the building. Can you talk a little bit about, I know these are basic questions, but I don't know the answer, so I'm going to ask them. Where are people that are in their own cars going to park, and where are the buses going to park? And then where is the actual visitors center? Because I know there's a visitor center now that's over by Boone's.
Yeah.
And
So I'll address the parking first. So the visitors lot will remain intact. and all of the bus parking will still be there.
Okay.
But what we're doing is trying to provide an area for buses to drop off safely. You know, right now, they park on Monroe, they park on Second Street. We're actually going to do a curb cut to where we can fit, I believe, 4 coach buses to offload at one time, and then those buses will make their way to park permanently in the visitor's lot. As far as our underground parking garage will hold 440 cars. All the rest of the surface lots will remain as is. The only one we've really removed is that North Drive.
Will visitors be allowed to park in that new garage?
The parking garage will be assigned spaces only. But we'll still, again, you know, next to the visitors lot, we'll have, or the visitor center will have all the visitor spaces that are currently there. Now, you also asked about the visitor center. So for those of you who are familiar, the visitor center is on the far western side of the Capitol complex. But there's so much that downtown has to offer, and especially with the renovation of the Armory building. So it's our plan to incorporate the visitor center now within the Armory. You know, one of the things that, I'm not from here, but one of the things that I have been asked since showing up 3.5 years ago by everybody here in Springfield is, when can I get back in that Armory building? And I'm excited to say that we're going to move the visitor center into the Armory, so then everybody who has all of the memories will be able to get back into that building.
Thank you for those answers, and thanks for coming here today, and this is exciting. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you. And you just answered my question on the Armory. I was going to bring that up, and my surrounding neighborhoods are very excited. The only complaint I get is all of the dirt and dust from them working in the cars that park on Monroe from their houses. This is probably more a question for Director Bottom about the street sweepers, if we could use that a little bit more and work in conjunction when she has the construction dedicated to that area at the time.
And I can speak as well. So we are in constant communication with Director Bottom and TJ Heaviside, and they have also expressed their concerns of the track out of the dirt from our construction sites. The contractor who is working on the Phase 4 project, core construction out of Morton and Peoria area, has now employed someone full-time to run a street sweeper to try to eliminate all of the track out that you've been seeing on Monroe. So I can watch it from my window, and I've been able to see an improvement in the last couple of weeks, but I know that's been a concern. So we got on top of it quickly.
And I would like to share that with my neighborhood association over there, because I don't think they are aware of that. But thank you for letting me know, and
Yeah,
you're doing an
absolutely.
awesome job.
Thank you.
Alderman Hanauer.
Thank you. I was fortunate, I guess, I don't know if it's fortunate, but we did all the wiring for the Capitol to get them up to code off the old Wang systems and onto the PCs. And that mezzanine area was a lot of problems because it was just sort of thrown up there, and there was really no plans so I'm glad to see it's finally going. And then everybody can see the ornate structures on the roof or on the ceilings and that, and that had to go. I'm glad to see that. But this is very exciting, and someone that was in that building a lot, and Stratton building as well. I thought originally when you were building the hole, you were going to throw the Stratton building in it. That would have been nice, but I think this is great, and I appreciate it. Appreciate the presentation.
Absolutely.
Alderman McMinima.
Andrea, thanks for this report and this update. Maybe you already covered this when you were talking about the Welcome Center moving from the west side of the Capitol near Boone Saloon to the Armory. The existing parking for visitors is now in that same area to the west of the Capitol near Boone. So will the parking for visitors be moved to the west side of the Armory?
You know, we're hoping to look at parking in that area. I touched a little bit on the master plan, and that gives us a snapshot of, 5, 25, and 50 years of what this Capitol complex is going to be. We know that soon the Stratton building is going to come down, but I can't put a date to it until I receive the funding. Obviously, a new building has got to go up before we can remove 1,200 people from the Stratton. Ideally, we hope to build a new legislative office building where all the gravel lots are to the north of Monroe. At that point, parking will be shifted probably more underground than where the Stratton is currently. And then that should free up some space around the Armory potentially for some visitor spots.
When do you think that timeline, how would you see that timeline happening? Because right now, the visitors are kind of west of the Capitol, and to get from there to the Armory will take some
Yeah.
time, but unless, the Armory
All
will
I
take some
need is-
time to redevelop as well.
Sure, all I need is money. But in all seriousness, the Armory is undergoing a renovation that won't be done until the end of 2026. So until that's done, the visitor center won't be open until that time.
Thank you.
Alderman Williams?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming. So I want to speak to the south of the Capitol. In particular, it's a big empty lot that's been there for years. I want to say it's between Cook and Edwards, maybe.
Yes, that's correct.
Is there any plans for that great big lot that's been empty all these years that
Yeah.
go along with these plans?
It is owned by the Laborers Union Pension Fund. At some point, I think the state would be interested in purchasing it, but I don't have any plans as of right now.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Purchase?
Yes, and also Alderman Williams, the Black Caucus is trying to do some things with that area as well, like buy some of that land and build on it too. 'Cause
Where
it's
the house is?
Yep, it's connected to where their house is, but they want to expand and show some historic stuff over there.
Thank you. Very good. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Chair will entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the April 4th, 2023 City Council meeting and approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council first reading of ordinances in the record of this City Council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mayor?
Yep. Alderman
I
Hanner.
believe we got people that want to speak on that, I think the chief sent something out on 2023-153, the barrier system on, and we got something, got an email about it. Can we pull that out?
Sure.
I guess go ahead and put it on debate, and they can discuss.
Second the motion to place on debate.
Okay. (2023-153), is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Is there any other discussion with regards to the consent agenda? Chair will entertain a motion to place the consent agenda on final passage with the exception of 2023-153.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. So, we should take a roll call vote on that one. Yep. So if you'd, all those in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open. And the consent agenda passes. Did you ask Alderman Fulgenzi?
He's gone.
Oh.
No.
9 voting yes, none voting no. Agenda number 2022-384, 2022-463, 2023-001, 2023-055, and 2023-086, and 2023-128 remain tabled during committee. Is there any motions on any of those? Next item on the agenda is docket number 2023-153, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Andrews Engineering, Inc., to provide oversight of the construction, excavation, and membrane barrier system installation for Fire Station Number 6 located at 1034 East Ash Street in an amount not to exceed $90,000 for the Springfield Fire Department. Chair will entertain a motion.
Is this the one we held? This not the one we held? Motion for passage.
Second.
Been moved and second to move for passage. Discussion. We do have Steve Goldman here, if you'd like to come up with the environmental group.
Mayor?
Yep. Alderman Hanauer.
Yes, my biggest concern is that we're not putting this putting people in a situation where it's harmful or potentially harmful down the road, if they're staying there, obviously. I haven't seen the results of the you know, the environmental, you know, stuff and, you know, but that's just one thing that concerns me that, you know, because we would be held liable and that could really be down in the future for the city, that could be really, that could really hurt us. Not only could it hurt a lot of our firefighters, so that's my main concern about this. I'm not concerned about getting the firehouse built. We need to get that done, but I just am very concerned that we don't put firefighters in any more harm's way than we already do, so.
Yeah, if you'd like to go over the process, that's one of the requirements, is that it has to be approved through the EPA to even move this direction.
Yeah, the report's been submitted to EPA, and they've submitted comments back to me, but most of it's all reporting issues. The only area of concern is in the southwest corner of the property, which is, you know, where the parking is and all that. And those are the original locations that we addressed, we knew about, begin with when we looked at the Hobbs investigation, that the water in that area had exceedances for indoor inhalation exposures. That'll be addressed in the NFR that nobody can build a building in that southwest corner. There is no indoor inhalation issues, you know, within probably 75 feet of the building.
Real quick, excuse me a second. I just got a text from Alderman Fulgenzi. He'd like to be reconnected.
Okay, we'll reach out to him. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Anything else, Alderman Hanauer?
Well, I guess the question I have is, okay, so there's an issue with water in that particular area. Is there a potential that the water bleeds over underneath where the firehouses are? Because water travels. Now, I don't know whether, you know, I don't know what I'm not a geologist or an engineer, but it seems to me that water could flow, you know, it flows, so.
The groundwater in that area somewhat flows to the southeast. But based upon Hobbs' work back in '05, the groundwater contaminants issues there haven't moved, so there's not a lot of drive, because the pavement, that entire area is paved, so there's not a lot of driving force to drive the water to move. It's a relatively flat land, so even though there's a groundwater flow, it is stagnant.
Right.
Flow.
So what's this barrier do then? Why are we putting a membrane barrier down?
The barrier originally was taken out of the process because after the initial look at the property, I was pretty confident that there was nothing going to be needed there. Then the city came back afterwards and said that they wanted to be abundantly cautious and wanted to put something in just to make sure that nobody would have any concerns that we were, you know, pulling something over on somebody. They wanted to just put a barrier in and be done with it, whether it was needed or not.
So you think that with everything as it stands, let me put it this way, would you stay there for a year or two? If you had to sleep in that building, would you do it?
I would sleep anywhere on that property other than the southwest corner of the property. Without a barrier.
Yeah. Okay. I just, like I said, my concern is making sure that we don't put people in a situation where down the road there's increased cancer or whatever, because then we're going to be the ones on the hook.
Right, and that's our concern, and that's Illinois EPA's concern too, that it's got to go through their process to be protective of human health and the environment.
Yeah. So, okay, thank you.
Alderman Gregory?
Thank you for this update, and I appreciate the explanation. And I would agree to take all the caution that we can. I know you mentioned that it was 75 feet away from, so, you know, and I respect Alderman Hanauer's concerns. You know, I would say that would be a concern for the citizens that stay in the area as well. You know, this building would be about the same distance from the southwest corner as multiple homes would be. So I definitely am in agreement with this. I think this is a great location, and something needs to be done with this corner. Now, from the map, did the building move? Did we move it closer to the eastern edge?
Which iteration?
All right. The one that you just sent, but it does look
No,
like it.
the building has moved
Right.
from the very beginning
Okay.
to now.
To the eastern edge.
It's moved, I guess from the last iteration to this one, it's moved west a little bit. When you had to put the police thing in.
Yeah.
Moved south.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was.
All right, thank you.
Alderwoman DeCenzo.
Thank you. I'm going to express the same concerns I expressed the last few times we've talked about this and voted on it. I voted no last time. I'll be a no vote tonight. Why we're paying all this extra money when Honeywell Hobbs is a active business that is still doing business? Why aren't they paying for this? Why aren't we going after them for cleanup costs? Why aren't we going after them to build this membrane? It's a pricey investment, and given the problems and issues, I will be a no vote tonight.
Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you. So I just clarify, the area that has the higher concentrations, that southwest corner.
Right.
That area is not going to be disturbed during the construction of the fire station? Can that concrete be taken up and not have any more cross-contamination?
Yeah, the concrete and all that, the impacts are 10 feet or so below ground.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion vote yes. Those opposed vote no. The voting is now open.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the ordinance passes 9 voting yes, 1 voting no. Next item on the agenda is 2023-155, an ordinance accepting an amended development agreement between the City of Springfield, Illinois and Legacy Park Sports LLC for the Office of Planning and Economic Development. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2023-155 on final passage.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion?
Do we have presenters, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah. Brian McCready with the SSGA as well as the developers here.
Good evening. I'm Ryan McCready with the Springfield Segment Growth Alliance. I don't have much new to present to you tonight. Not much has changed since your meeting last week, which I think is a good thing. This amended developers agreement, the language that's being amended was put together very carefully between the administration, the developer, and the banks that are looking to finance this project. So that language was carefully put together. It's been a couple years of discussions about getting the project to this point. We're very excited about it. The interest that has shown this entire time has grown, and it continues to grow. And I'm also want to applaud the city for the position that you have taken to inspire the creation of a sports complex, but also provide protections to your taxpayers. I think you did that in a responsible way that the Growth Alliance definitely supports. The development team is here tonight if we do have any questions. But those are the big issues I want you to realize. And just once again, for the public, the developer is bearing the risk of this development. They have to finance the project, construct it, operate it in a way that generates the tax revenues that then you will be able to share back with them in that success. The other taxing bodies have approved their tax abatements only on the specific sports complex, not on any adjacent properties that would and we expect to see developed going forward after the sports complex is put together. The dome will set it apart from other sports complexes with the largest sports dome in the world. That dome is constructed in a manner that has also as a metal mesh that helps support that dome. And we were informed that a dome that was constructed in the same way went through the Category 4 hurricane in Miami and was able to handle that storm. Now, we seem to test wind shear about every week here right now, it feels like, or multiple times a week. And I understand that, but the dome is fully insured and has warranties attached to that. But these domes do exist in areas that also have high wind events. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I also want to say this agreement contains a provision for, to get the best advantage on pricing for turf potential at Chamberlain Ballpark and Robert Roberts Stadium also for potential going forward. So we're happy to answer any questions you might have, but I won't go through the entire presentation unless you need it.
Yeah, real quick on the dome, I think it was mentioned this afternoon that it will withstand up to 125 miles per hour wind.
That's right, yeah.
And then the highest in Springfield's been like 97?
97 miles an hour, I think in 1959? 57, I was close, 1957.
Thank you. Alderman Gregory?
That's not a challenge, Mother Nature.
No,
We're not
no,
looking
definitely
to challenge that this weekend anytime, so please remember that.
Brian, just knock on the wood when you say
Yeah,
that.
there we go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I will just say that, to the developer and to you, Mr. McCready, that, you guys have done a good job. And Mr. Zirkle and Mayor, I appreciate you guys sending this information out. And I can say that I'm going to hold you to your word last week, Mr. McCready, that you're going to see it through. And, I thank the developers for being open to ensuring that disadvantaged youth in this city. And I don't want to be mistaken that I only care about Ward 2, but there's some young people that stay out there in those apartments. And I remember as a young kid, always going through and being places that I shouldn't be. And I don't want them to be looking through the fence. I want them to be allowed through. So that's the only reason I'm passionate about this, and I look forward to voting for this tonight, as I was original no vote. So I appreciate it.
Understand. Thank you. Well, I appreciate your open-mindedness and having those conversations with us. And, it is important. I hear people talk about sometimes, certain parts of cities get improved so fast that people get what they call priced out of paradise. And that can become a real problem. It's become a problem in even bigger cities. So it is important to have a development and activity that everybody can participate in. And we will keep a close eye on that. I feel very confident. We have an experienced operator like Sports Facilities Company in place to help us with that. And they have a tremendous amount of experience with it. So,
Alderman McMinima?
This is a exciting project. It brings economic activity to the city. $65 million in construction activity, both inside and outside. And congratulations to you, Mayor. You've been a strong advocate of this. Alderwoman DeCenso, you have. City Attorney Zirkle, you've worked on this on and off for 2+ years, maybe 3 years.
5.
And, 5, okay. And in particular, we got this last version that consolidates both phases in, I would say, the last 3 weeks. And that takes a lot of effort to put all the legal pieces together from the point of view of the contract. And congratulations to the development team and to Scott Dahl and to the investors, Steve Luker and Mr. McCormick. You've been around advocating, and many of the aldermen have been advocating for this. My concern remains I was a no vote the last time when the subsidy was $36 million, and now it's $45 million. We've never had a subsidized project at this level. It's a complicated project from the point of view of the redevelopment agreement. There is risk to the city depending on how the bonds are written and the terms to the bonds. There's a great deal of oversight that needs to take place with all the contractual terms. This is an ongoing project for 23 years. As an attorney, there's legal tripwires all over this agreement because the city can terminate funding at any point in time with a whole number of different triggers. And if the disagreements take place about was that a legitimate trigger, was it a substantial trigger, and that kind of thing. So the amount of the subsidy really concerns me. We're guaranteeing profit with this subsidy. We're trying to guarantee the avoidance of loss to the private parties that are behind this. I understand that, but Again, government shouldn't be in the place of guaranteeing private profit and avoiding private loss unless it's really an activity crucial to the city's core mission. And, our core missions are public safety and infrastructure, and we have other needs out there. The first time I came into Springfield with a degree in 1979, I just thought the gateways needed help. And by gateways, I mean South Grand, Cook, Clear Lake, Peoria Road coming in from the north. It's not so bad from the west. It's not so bad from the south. And we really haven't made progress in those areas. And so when you look at what's the risk to the city, you have to also look at what's the opportunity cost to the city. In other words, if we spend money in this area, we're not spending money in other areas. And I think our mayor-elect has made a good point that, on two main points, that our poverty rate in the city of Springfield is higher than the state average. I think our mayor-elect said that we're got a poverty rate of 18%, state average is 12%. Our mayor-elect has said, let's beautify, and we need to beautify those gateways. We need to have pride in Springfield. And when you come in from many of the gateways, you're going through a depressed, neglected area of Springfield. So I've got a problem with this kind of subsidy for an area that, it's an activity that doesn't really help our neighborhoods, in my opinion. There aren't really any neighborhoods nearby Shields. I guess the closest one would be Fuller Court, and they're opposed to it because of that's in my ward, but they're opposed to it because of the noise impact to their neighborhood on Fuller Court at the very south end of State Street. Okay, what are the arguments for this? Oh, we need more sports fields. Now, excuse me, folks. I coached soccer for 20 seasons, boys and girls soccer. We had fields. We had never any problems with getting a field, whether it be at UIS or even out at the airport or more closer to home. And now we've got the YMCA on the west side. We've got two YMCAs, really improved. Our School District 186 is building new and improved gyms all over town. So that, to me, doesn't cut it. We need jobs. Historically, Springfield, fortunately, has had the lowest unemployment rate in the state on average. And right now, a lot of restaurants can't find the labor they need. These jobs here at the sports complex, they'll be typically, minimum wage type jobs, so you can't really, in my opinion, justify it that way. Okay, the argument is we'll increase city revenue. We'll increase city revenue. Let's examine that one closely. Our ordinances require that when we bring an ordinance to the city council, it must have a fiscal analysis attached to it. Now, I don't blame our current administration for having no fiscal analysis for this ordinance because we've just kind of done a new redevelopment agreement in the last 3 weeks. Now, maybe there is a fiscal analysis out there. I haven't received it. Has any alderman or woman received a fiscal analysis? What should that fiscal analysis provide? Well, it should show motel, hotel taxes now and going forward and how much is scraped off for the redevelopment. It should show, one of the funding sources for this is the sales tax, the incremental sales tax generated from Shields and in the other retail activity there. We don't have any information on that, no projections. And, if there are some projections, I think it's too late maybe to get them out now for this discussion because we have to study those in advance. I hope there is new revenue to the state, but again, to the city, but a lot of that new revenue will go to, underwrite the cost of the facility. In closing, by the way, I do get some phone calls. Some of the young families say, let's get the sports complex here. But when I ask them, do you know what the cost is? Do you know what the subsidy is? No, nobody has a clue. Nobody has they just want something good. It's kind of like saying, honey, would you like a new car? well, yeah, I'd like a new car, but wait a minute, what's the cost of that new car? Or should we upgrade our house? But what's the cost? So people don't focus on the cost, they focus on what they'd like to have. And that's a real problem from my point of view. Mr. Jim Hazard of Hy-Vee, he called today. You know, Ryan, you were at the MacArthur Boulevard Association meeting last Thursday, and he was there. And he said, let's pass this. And I asked him, you know, what do you think the subsidy was for Hy-Vee when Hy-Vee came in 10 years ago? He didn't know, but, you know, the subsidy was $3.5 million. And that was to really improve the neighborhood. Why? Because we had a grocery store desert there. We had the highest density of residences in any area of the city, you know, homes that are with 40-foot wide lots, all up and down State Street, all up and down Glenwood and other areas. And we needed a grocery store. So that's an example of a subsidy that brings in something that the neighborhoods need. So that was a subsidy of $3.5 million, and it was, they get their subsidy going out 23 years. It's not upfront subsidy, and this isn't an upfront subsidy either. I recognize that. But speaking of this subsidy, there is that fixed part of the subsidy where we'll be taking money from hotel, motel tax from the very start and putting it into the funding for maintenance, future maintenance, and so forth. And actually, from a legal point of view, the debt, actually, $500,000 per year will be set aside for, the definition in the contract is ongoing costs. The term ongoing costs has very broad definition if you look at the definition. So we're going to put aside money for ongoing costs from the very start of the agreement, but the drawdown can't take place till the construction is completed. That's you know, the right way to do it. But that ongoing costs, very broadly defined, I think that's going to be a problem down the road for the fact that there is some risk, because once that ongoing cost is then spent, you know, the city doesn't get it back. And we hope this is successful. So getting back to Hy-Vee, that was a $3.5 million subsidy. I don't think we've ever had anything close to this kind of a subsidy. I think the hotel motel tax monies would have been better spent, the gateways into the city, downtown. We have got so much in the downtown area that needs subsidy to bring them back. We just learned about the Ridgely building, a 11-story Ridgely building that's going to have to be vacated. They shut off the natural gas there. We've got a number of large buildings downtown that need attention. And we take this subsidy from hotel motel taxes, and it's not going to be available for the more strategic needs of the capital city. So I just wanted to take the time. I might be the only no vote on this, I don't know, but I want to take the time to explain that this is the problem I've got with this. $45 million of subsidy over the next 23 years. When there are other areas of our town that need the help, our gateways need the help, and downtown needs the help with that hotel motel tax. So thanks, Mayor, for the opportunity.
Can I reply to some of those things? You're my alderman, and I appreciate the fact that you and I can disagree on things, but still be friends. And so this is something that we disagree on, which is fine. I would say on the $45 million, Alderman, the way that this sports complex is being built in this community, in every other community, that folder should say $90 million on it. Because 99.9% of the time, a unilocal government is borrowing all the money and constructing these facilities. And I agree with you, cities should focus on their core competencies: public health, public safety, infrastructure. And so when I see a city build a sports complex, I start wondering, is that a core competency of a city? And as a former city official, not in this city but in another one, I knew it wasn't. And so I was always looking to inspire a private party to come in and build that and take that risk. The other thing I'd like to say is I understand the desire to improve the gateways, those kind of things. The Growth Alliance would be welcomed to be at the table to help assist with that. And I also know how complicated it is to do that when your gateways are also state highways. So, you know, I know the Public Works Department, I understand the complications they have in trying to do things along what appear to be city streets that are actually state highways, and how those two entities have to try to be able to meet the safety goals of both parties. It's not easy to do. It's possible. I'd be happy to help with that. But absent the sports complex and the money it brings in, you're not giving away $45 million. You're bringing in more than that into the city, and you're sharing a portion of what you get back to this development if it's successful. And that if is enormous. And I agree, there are a lot of places in this developers agreement where the city can stop paying what they need to pay. And as I look at it from a taxpayer perspective, I like that the developers, and you know, I'm not on anybody's side here, but I work mostly with them, they have to perform. You know, they have to perform and deliver. And there are so many stopgaps in this agreement where if they don't follow through, they don't get any of the money. And that's one of the things that makes it complicated. The fact that no one's really done it like this makes it complicated and has made it very, very difficult to get it done. As far as having this benefiting the neighborhoods, I can't think of a neighborhood that would want this next door to them either. I mean, you know, with the light shining, all the traffic and everything else, I mean, it'd be difficult to zone something like this next to a neighborhood. It's fairly close, probably about as close as you're going to want to get to it. So the neighborhoods do benefit. Those kids in those neighborhoods go to District 186. And, you know, Superintendent Gill will tell you the school district's interest in being a partner on this project is because they're going to have to build some of their own athletic facilities. I mean, if you've had your kids in middle school in District 186, you know, and I have, they struggle to find athletic locations for the things that they have going on. And so the school district's going to have to build them or have an opportunity to allow the students to participate in a different way. Having that time at the sports complex also lowers their operations and maintenance and replacement costs in the future too, into those facilities. Now, I understand the poverty rate here. I'm working very hard to bring jobs to this community. On a positive note related to that, when we look back compared to before the pandemic, we have 2,000 more people employed in this metropolitan area than we did before the pandemic. And I just returned from the biggest conference of site selectors in the country, and when I told them that our workforce has grown by almost 2% compared to before the pandemic, they said that is rare. That is a rare situation around this country. So I understand everybody's still looking for labor, and every time I say that publicly, I get phone calls from businesses trying to hire people. I understand that. But this community is full of a bunch of good people that get up and go to work every day. And for us to be able to say we have more people working, that's not jobs, that's actually employed people. And it's not my number, it's from the Bureau of Labor Statistics nationally. Our folks get up and go to work, and I'm proud of them for that. Because there's some places that's not happening around this country. That's going to be a huge factor going forward. But, you know, the real cost of this facility is twice what the city's being asked to do. And absent an agreement with a private development company like this and their ability to share in that cost with the city, that number gets even bigger. And there's even more risk to the taxpayers. There is no perfect situation in this world, but this is a unique one. And I truly believe that it's going to have a tremendous benefit to the city. As far as a fiscal note on this, I mean, we've been talking about this for 2 years. I mean, May of 2021 is when you adopted the current development agreement. We have had a number of conversations. I don't work on the city staff, but the economic return has to be there, or the developer doesn't get the money back. It's not only as the market analysis showed that, but the developer's analysis has showed that, and trust me, the banks that want to finance this thing are going through it with a fine-tooth comb also to look at that. So we're strong supporters of this project. I appreciate and understand your concerns and respect your position on those things. I don't say any of this because I think I'm going to change your vote. I just wanted to be able to respond to some of the things that came up.
Mr. Mayor, if I may just
Sure.
conclude my comments. I really appreciate those thoughts and that analysis. Ryan McCready, you're an outstanding advocate for what you believe is good for the city, and I completely understand that. I just want to make a few comments. I mean, some of the other areas that have gone this route with sports industry, they don't have the massive sewer problems that we have in the city. They don't have the significant massive pension debt that will revisit this city in the next few years. They don't have a downtown that has suffered like our downtown has the last 40 years. They don't have an 18% poverty rate like what we have. So I wish we could have come up with an idea that is more centered around our neighborhoods, and I'll just leave it at that.
Those are all things I would share concerns about too. I guess I'm just not seeing how, I mean, we've been talking about the sports complex for 2 years, and those problems have been around for a long time also. And I'm just not seeing the intersection of those things tonight. But the sports complex is going to throw off additional revenue to the city, and, the city council coming together and figuring out what the goals are for the city. Maybe there's some type of provision later on that says a percentage of this gravy that comes off this project is going to go towards sewers, and it's going to go towards gateways, and it's going to go towards these. That would be a great thing for a city to sit down and work through.
No, I just go back to the opportunity cost. And when Hy-Vee came in, that strengthened those neighborhoods. The property values strengthened. We had, fly dumping, graffiti, et cetera there. It was a tipping point type situation. And so when we strengthen we get payback from strengthening our gateways, because those neighborhoods then strengthen, we get reinvestment. We got neighborhoods where 1 out of every second lot is empty now, and where will that money come from? And I realize you can't use hotel, motel tax money for sewers, but what you can use hotel, motel tax money is our gateways and our downtown. And we strengthen our downtown, we increase property values, and that brings in revenue to the city too.
The Hy-Vee neighborhood was my neighborhood when we lived here before, and I know exactly what you're talking about not being able to walk with your family to go to the grocery store. We couldn't do that when I lived here before. Out of the interest of full disclosure, my son works at Hy-Vee. He's not a manager. He's the kid that stocks the bananas. But so I don't have a vested interest in Hy-Vee, but I want someone to say his kid works there. So he's worked there since we moved here 2.5 years ago. But I was in the grocery store this weekend, and I ran into Jim Blizzard, the manager, and he was on me about the sports complex, and pretty much everywhere I go. The Hy-Vee subsidy, I agree with, is $3.5 million, but these things are typically a percentage of development cost. And yes, the sports complex number is bigger, but, we always want to pay attention to the percentage of the subsidy that we have too. One thing I didn't mention is securing Shields for an additional number of years as part of this agreement too. Them extending their lease and what that will mean also. And, having that located adjacent to a sports complex, when a kid breaks with a cleat or the baseball bat or whatever, there's a convenient place to go. And we were told recently that if the kids know there's a Shields sporting goods store by the sports complex, they'll forget some stuff at home when they come to the tournament conveniently, so, which happens. But, I definitely respect your position and appreciate you giving me the chance to reply, so.
Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Ryan, for everything. I'm not going to belabor too much. I'm really excited about this. I've only heard positive feedback and encouragement from constituents. As I said last week, I did traveling soccer for more years and more dollars than my budget back then actually could support. So I know, from the parent's perspective, what we're bringing into our community right now. And I just want to highlight something that I don't know if Mr. Zirkle read my mind or read the minds of some people who've been asking about this, and I did mean to ask, so thank you, Mr. Zirkle. But we received an email that highlights some of the highlights of the developers agreement, and the last, almost second to last one here is, no development incentive assistance funds shall be used to make payments to the developer, pay development fees, pay profits for the operation of the project, or to pay management salaries. So those kinds of base costs are not included as part of this incentive portion where the city participates. And I really appreciate and respect the fact that, because to me, those are kind of those bare bones basics. That's before you get to profit. That's before you get to, generating additional dollars for the city. So I appreciate there are more walls in here than there are more walls in here than even I realized at first. I've gone through it again and a little more slowly, and I'm comfortable with this agreement. We have to take chances. You can't cut your way into and reduce your budget into and grow a city. We're making a big investment in our city. We're telling people this is a great place to come for a variety of reasons. I'm excited to see a reason for people to come here that's not, again, no offense to the Capitol architect, the General Assembly or Abraham Lincoln. We're giving people another incentive to be here, and it's an exciting incentive. It's a different group of people that we'll be marketing to. I think Scott Dahl is going to be busier than he realized for a very long time, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time and work on this. Thank you. Felliver has put a lot of time and energy into this, and a lot of vision into bringing some new opportunities to our city, and I'm excited to be voting yes on this tonight.
Thank you, Alderman Donlin.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Mr. McCready. Thanks for being here this evening. Developers, thanks for you all being here. I spoke last week about some issues and that I've encountered personally with people that go to sports parks throughout the country, and I won't rehash those, but a couple things. This is no different. We have a convention center, right? We have a convention center that attracts medium-sized conventions, no secret. We're not going to get conventions that need the size of an Orlando Conference Center. This project is really similar but different. What I mean by that is it is going to act as a magnet for tournaments that we cannot get now. And we're going to attract individuals from all over not only Illinois, but all over the Midwest. It's just a fact. It's happened elsewhere. If this project's successful, it's going to generate monies that we do not have now, where we'll be able to do all the things that were outlined earlier. I believe that in my heart, or I wouldn't before this project. But I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room. It all comes, I don't have a prop or anything, but if I did, I'd hold up a clock or a calendar. If this agreement, ordinance, passes this evening, Mayor, how long will it take you to sign it?
Corporation Counsel?
Probably a week.
Yes.
I know you got to go through a process. So a week.
Yep.
After that's signed, when will construction start?
Once that's signed, I believe they have 90 days, correct?
Mm-hmm.
To begin, so to secure the financing and start construction.
So-
The developer, the prime time to move dirt in Illinois is May 15th to June 15th.
So
And the first part of that process is to move those things. So we
theoretically,
are-
we're 97 days away from this getting off, or in the ground, off the ground, however you want to look at it, and that's important. And it's a key part of all this. And this project concept has been around for over a decade, and I just appreciate everybody's patience. I appreciate all of the precautions that are put in this agreement, the protection for the city, but most of all, the vision to make something happen. I mean, Shields and the Legacy Point project is something that started years and years ago, and we ran through a recession, we've run through a pandemic, we've had all kinds of problems, and we're going to get this past the finish line. I believe it in my heart, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Alderwoman DeCenzo?
Thank you. As I alluded to earlier, I received my first email on this project in 2018. So 5 years of my 6 years sitting up here. I've been dealing with Steve Luker, so I should get a special award just for that. Sports tourism is a real thing. Right now, we cannot provide that. We can't do what we've always done and expect something different. And not to state the obvious, but a grocery store is not a sports complex. I remember watching the ribbon cutting at Hy-Vee, and the mayor at the time saying that this was the most exciting thing that's ever come to Springfield. Hy-Vee. I love Hy-Vee. It's a great grocery store. I can walk there if I want. But if the most exciting thing to come to Springfield in that mayor's 8 years that he served as mayor was a grocery store. That tells the story of why we need this sports complex. I am passionate about it. I have sat through meetings in the pandemic with masks on with these fine gentlemen, all these gentlemen, with labor unions, with everybody else, and we have hammered it out. There have been people storming out of rooms, there have been raised voices, there have been ugly comments, there have been nasty fights, and we're here and we're going to pass this tonight because it's right for all of Springfield, not just Ward 6. It's right for everybody. And if I don't get invited, post sitting in this chair to dig that dirt up, you're going to hear it from me. I'll stalk you. And I will too. But this is the right thing to do for all of Springfield. So let's stop holding up our signs and let's just get down to business and pass this thing because Springfield deserves it. We deserve something else and something new.
Well, Alderwoman DeCenzo, I want to thank you for your commitment to it too. And I don't know how many phone calls and text messages from me or you and I had over the few years I've been involved in the project. But absolutely, it's been a lot of hard work. Mayor Langfelder, Corporation Counsel Zirkle, the development team, the labor. There's been, I say in most projects I work on, they take years to get the construction, and we usually lose them about 5 times along the way. So there's all these ups and downs, and so it's always a marathon, not a sprint, and this has been a long one. But I want to thank you for your commitment to getting this done and for being a tremendous advocate for it.
Just let you know, I have a son. He's not involved in sports. He doesn't play any sports.
Anymore.
He's never played sports. It's not his thing. I'm from a sports legacy family in the city. My dad was a coach. My brothers all played. I grew up in sports, but this doesn't benefit me personally in any way, shape, or form, or my family. But it is the right thing to do for the city. Thank you.
Alderman Redpath, do you play sports?
Yes, he used to.
I'm still playing sports. Steve Luker, you need to be careful if you got her stalking you.
That's right.
Get the gold shovel now.
But I've known Steve Luker for probably 2 decades. I'm approaching 3 decades on the city council, and I can tell you that he's had a vision for that area for a long time. He really put his heart and soul into this, brought us proposals, fought the fights that we've had to fight on this floor, and congratulations to you. And to you too, Mayor, and Corporation Council, and all the others who were involved. I know Ralph Hanauer and I sat in the Bank of Springfield's office for a conference with the bankers over this thing 5 years ago, probably. So it's a lot of hearts and souls in this. And Scott Dahl, you are going to be one busy guy. I got 5 grandkids, 4 grandsons, and they all play sports. So they have to travel all the time. And I'm ready for something like this to come to Springfield. It is one of the best things that hit the city for a long time. Although I like the Portillo's thing, Mayor. I know that was one of your babies.
That's good too. Yeah.
But it is a jewel for us, and to you, Ryan, for grabbing the bull by the horns and helping steer this the right direction. Congratulations, you too. But
Thank you. Thanks.
thank you.
Alderman Williams?
Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. I was initial no, of course, and negative about this, and I've been won over, but I know that you're still going to be around, and I know where to find you, DeCenzo, if those 10 hotels between South Grand and Stevenson don't fill up the way, it's been promised. I've spoken to my ward. They're more or less, yeah, because it's never happened. So I'm hoping these 90 days to developers are important. That's something, give her the shovel and let her at least dig the hole. And then I can say to my ward, it is happening. It is real. Brother Joe, Alderman McMenamin, I hear you. I hear you clearly. You've raised some valid, very serious concerns about the gateways, about other parts of the city. I just hope that this development does exactly what you say, Mr. McCready, that it does benefit the whole city and start creating this kind of economic energy and things to go to help everybody out. I see the school district doing what they're doing. That kind of confuses me. They're doing some pretty fancy gyms and some pretty fancy buildings and fields themselves. So I'm like, well, are we overdoing this? But I'm going to be a good partner in the city, and Ward 3 is going to vote yes on this project, and I'm praying for success. Thank you.
Absolutely, and I can tell you, when I was in Decatur, I would run into Springfield District 186 families attending sporting events in our new school facilities over there, and they would be saying, why don't we have something like this? And I said, well, they're trying to pass the sales tax to help the schools with facilities, and that's what we did, and if you would vote for that, then you could have something like this. So it makes a big difference. The students behave different in a new facility, and my daughter graduated from Decatur MacArthur High School, and I think she was the first class to go all 4 years in the renovated high school there. And, it does make a difference, and those kids are proud to have something like that in their neighborhood. So it's, this stuff's hard. You got to do everything, right?
Yes.
To make it work. But the schools coming along and doing that is going to be a big factor on where people decide to send their kids to school, too.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm wishing it to be successful. That hotel motel tax piece is a struggle for me, but like I said, there's 10 of them between South Grand and Stevenson, and then, and Dirksen and Stevenson and Dirksen.
Yeah.
And we need to fill them up like you have
Fill 'em up.
said would happen, and I'll be a very happy camper. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and School District 186, the value to them is their middle school facilities. They don't have enough money to build those out, so the sports complex will help complement their need with regards to middle schools. Alderman Hanauer?
Thank you. This weekend, I went out to Lanphier, and I wasn't able to get into the gym, but I was able to look at outside for a short period because the wind was blowing at 50, blowing dust everywhere, but I got to look at Memorial Stadium.
Nice.
And wow, what a difference. And I've stood on that field for many, many years, and that was exciting. I cannot tell you how many people have come up to me and the excitement about this project. And there's a lot of skeptics, and there are a lot of skeptics, always has been. And that's why it's important. The quicker you can break ground and start moving dirt out there, that'll get the skeptics on your side. And who knows, maybe it'll get some more, investors, because everybody has said this is, it was, I don't know, Xanadu or something at one point, and it was going to be, a bunch of different things. But the way this was constructed by us, I think that it does give us a lot of outs, but I think from the city standpoint, that's the right thing to do for the taxpayer. And all that's doing is it's holding the developer's feet to the fire. And for us to push that, this is a new way of doing things, and this is the way we should do things. And so, now the pressure's on you guys, the developers. No offense, I don't want to see you back here unless it's just to tell us, give us updates on the project. Because 90 days, if things haven't moved out there, there's going to be some problems. Because I think we've all worked hard, we've dealt with this for long enough, and it's time to move. So, and it's, winter's coming, so let's just get this going. So
Winter's coming.
it'll be here sooner. Listen, that construction, I'm not rushing, but, the only other thing I would say is that in regards to the financial impact statements, we have passed a lot of ordinances that never had financial impact statements. We've had, I don't know, just the Wyndham, for example, there's no financial impact statement on that. I don't even know that there was I don't know that there was a lot of things that we haven't seen on that should have been done, So, the financial impact statement, that doesn't concern me because we've passed a lot. And so, good job. But now the pressure's on you guys to get this thing going. So, thank you.
Alderman McMinimum?
Yeah, I think the fiscal analysis for the Wyndham is something completely different. We just had to look at the TIF balance and that kind of thing. But Alderwoman DeSenso, you made a good comment about what's exciting in Springfield. And so you mentioned the groundbreaking for Hy-Vee. And the reason we're talking about Hy-Vee is because the Shields Sports Complex is also on Hy-Vee, so there's some compare and contrast there. But, you know, I was at that groundbreaking also. Why? Because I helped organize it. And I had a shovel in my hand. And I think what the mayor said was, this is the most exciting thing in a few years, or in recent years. That was Mayor Houston after 2 years back in the office. What I also remember about that day after the groundbreaking, and, you know, Hy-Vee said the most people that ever showed up for a groundbreaking. That's how important it was at that time. There was about 400 people there for a groundbreaking. They'd never seen anything like that. And the community involvement had been the same way when they had a meeting to describe the project to the public, and they asked me to get a site, and we chose Butler School, and it was standing room only at Butler School. But after the groundbreaking, we drove around, the Hy-Vee vice president and I drove around for a while, and she said, you know, we almost put it out at Shields. He said, but we wanted to put it where all the rooftops were. And so, Steve, I don't know how hard you tried to get Hy-Vee out there, but that's what she said, at any rate. So, kind of, it's ironic. But at any rate, I understand everyone's points of view, and well stated.
Well, appreciate it. One last item is, I did ask Steve Luker and developers to, on their signage marketing material, put Springfield, Illinois on there, so when people take a picture of things, or when they visit, or there's a lot of Springfield, so we need to designate that. Kind of like what we did on the giant slide with Scott Dahl's chagrin. We got it on there, so when people take a picture, that's shared across the country and sometimes the world, so that's very important to have that on there, so we appreciate them working with us on that. So, any other discussion? All in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open.
Alderman Ferginsley, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
And the ordinance passes 10 voting yes, 1 voting no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Brian.
Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules in place on first reading agenda number 2023-181, an ordinance authorizing acceptance of execution of tourism attractions and festival grant number 2200290 from the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity in the amount of $499,878 to be used for partial block development of the North Mansion Block Plaza for the Office of Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend with the rules in place on first reading agenda number 2023-182. Ordinance authorizing 3-year extension of the lease agreement with Springfield, Illinois African American History Foundation, doing business as the Springfield and Central Illinois African American History Museum for property located at 1440 Monument Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend with the rules in place on first reading agenda number 2023-183, an ordinance authorizing acceptance of execution of a grant number 23-0155 ORC from the State of Illinois Office of Attorney General in the amount of $225,000 for the Organized Retail Crime Grant Program, and authorizing a supplemental appropriation of the amount of $225,000 for the Springfield Police Department.
So moved.
Second. Moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Is there any unfinished business come before the council? Any new business?
Mayor, I have one thing.
Yep. Alderman Donlin.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not one to want to drag the meetings out, but I think this is an important one. We recently had, in my ward, a bank robbery. And the police department, my understanding is the police department, with the aiding of some new technology and some citizenry, were able to catch the individual and solve the crime. And I think that's a big deal for Springfield, and if Assistant Chief would like to talk about it, I would be grateful.
Yeah, thank you, Alderman. If you didn't see our press release on Friday, Wednesday last week, we had an armed robbery at the Regions Bank over off of Durkin Drive. We had not a lot to go on, honestly. Subject was masked, had a gun, came in. Detectives did a great job canvassing the area, were able to find a citizen who had seen something that he didn't think was right, a car that was parked outside of his residence. Seemed abnormal to him. He let the detectives know. They found someone else who had surveillance camera footage of that car. Using that, they were able to access our LPR, flock LPR, to find the vehicle in the area, get a license plate on it. Now we've got a suspect, get in contact with the state. That car was eventually found over in Terre Haute, Indiana. A little difficult getting some cooperation initially. Our detectives, they've done a great job so far. They pack up and head over to Indiana, and we were able to work with the local authorities and the FBI to take him into custody really less than 2 days later. So they spent a lot of time over there, did a great job, and we've been able to hold them accountable for that. Thanks to the citizens working together with the police department, and also thanks to the technology advances that you all have given us the money to be able to purchase. And it's showing great dividends, so thank you for that.
Nice work. Thank you for that update.
Thank you. Outstanding. Alderwoman Purchase?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say Happy National Lineman Appreciation Day to the hardworking men and women at CWLP, because when we have bad storms or dangerous weather, they put themselves on the front lines to make sure that our electricity is coming back on or removing things that need to be removed around those lines. So we just want to say we appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, we do.
Any other new business? Saturday's Earth Day, so that's going to be at Henson Robinson Zoo from 11 to 4, and the SMTD bus transportation is offering free shuttles every 30 minutes. Is there people signed up to speak?
There's one. Minister Gary Pierce.
Minister Gary Pierce here?
Let's see, Gary.
Yep. I think he was going to speak about Park District and our partnership with them on summer employment.
Yes.
So
Yep, I'll give them a
that's
ring.
something I know Alderman Gregory's been working on. Is there anybody else wish to address the city council?
Yep, I do.
You can come up and state your
but
name
I'm running out.
and address for the council. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, three of them.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Everyone knows my name. My government name is Mr. Johnson. And Mayor and Zirkle is my concern today. It's been some weeks now, and my question is, how many more times do I have to pay my attorney to show up for a issue that I've been discussing with your legal department? Are we going to kick it down the road to the next administration? Or I made an offer on the property, so can we get a decision, or am I going to have to wait?
What's property's that? I'm not familiar with what you're talking about.
Okay, so nobody has brought this to your attention?
Is it surplus property you're looking at, or what?
Zirkle, do you want to speak on it, or do you want me?
No, I think it has to do with some fines or liens that are on a property that was a family member's, correct? And then there was going to be a demolition that you offered to do, but you wanted to have the fines reduced.
The homeowner, my mother, is deceased now. So I'm taking it on my own to take care of it. But I said something to your office lady about what I could do, and I haven't heard anything. And she was supposed to bring it to both of you guys and then let me know. So,
There was a discussion about it last week, Katia. I think you talked to Katia.
yes.
Yeah. And so it's under review, and we can get you an answer this week.
Okay, I appreciate an answer.
No problem.
And I will tear it down, and I will use union operators to do it. So if you guys can do what all I asked, then it can be a closed case. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor.
How you?
Mayor-elect, all the persons and other officers and members here. My name is Hewitt Douglas. I called yesterday to get on the speakers list. Evidently, she couldn't spell my name correctly. It's Douglas with 2 S's, like Frederick Douglass. Why it didn't get on there, I don't know. Well, it went to voicemail, and I left a voicemail yesterday about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. However, you know why I'm here. I think you should know. Lincoln Tower Apartments. We formed a residents tenant association or organization last night. We are very concerned still because, according to our notes, March 15th, Scott Tribble and many others indicated that they would have a strategic plan. The engineers would have a scope of work, and they would be shoring that up. And they told us then that within 2 weeks, we would know something. It's a month plus now, and we still don't know anything. We're asking the city, as they did before, to have the property owners explain to the citizens, 160 different families, why or when or how. We would like to know in regards to the engineering study that was done. The city was supposed to get that study and then be able to make a determination within a few short time, a week or so, as to what they could or couldn't suggest. At this time, we don't know whether the city received those engineering studies or not. I do apologize, Mayor, I probably should have called your office first and talked with your office about it, but I told my wife I'd rather come here and do it here anyway, especially for my new mayor. You know, you've been my buddy, and I appreciate you, though. I was told to put down 5 things that I wanted to talk about, we wanted to talk about tonight, but I'm not going to, I took a list, started with like 12 different things. But first, of course, is the underground parking, as I spoke about. How long will it take in the engineering studies? In regards to the elevators in our building, we still only have 1 elevator working. It has gone out now 3 times in the last month since I was here, or since that issue. I try to come every week if I can, other than taking my grandbaby to ballet. But it's just very important. I'm also concerned, we are also concerned, and thank you for the assistance all of you probably did with putting the pressure on a lot owner to finally get parking space within 2 blocks, and that was a big help. But as a concerned citizen and one that's concerned about not myself, I wouldn't want to meet me in a dark alley. So I know nobody else wants to meet somebody like me or as big as me. It has nothing else to do with that. But those streets, 3rd Street between Cook and 3rd and 2nd Street, most of the city, county, state offices recommend to their employees when the sun starts going down about 5 o'clock to make sure that you don't walk alone. Make sure that you pull your car as close as possible. Make sure that you watch yourself and watch what's around you. That city block used to have the YMCA on it. It was lit 24 hours a day. Now I count 1 street light. And I'm here to ask the city if they can put a street light on that block that would help a great deal to those that have to walk now 2 blocks. We don't know how long we're going to have to walk 2 blocks. A year, 6 months, 2 years, we don't know. So that's the other large concern I have for the city. The owners did get the cyber locks fixed. They got the garbage moved. They got some of the issues that we had as residents resolved, and I want to thank y'all. I'm not going to take up your time, but I do want to know that Legacy Point skeptics, I'm one of them. When I first heard about it, it was gonna be over on the east side. Boy, we was happy. We thought, oh man, we're gonna get a huge sports complex over here on the east side. It didn't happen. But that's all right, as long as the city gets a sports complex, because it is very important. And I said I wasn't gonna waste your time. So Christine, I'm telling you, stalking is illegal. You could be arrested just for saying it.
I was just,
And with the police here too, you know, so thank
The
y'all.
stalker.
And I'll answer any questions that you have of me.
Well, we'll get a report from Public Works on the status of that, or if you have it, Nate.
So, actually, our building code official, Josh Ruffley, came in on Good Friday to meet with Scott Tribble as well as their engineer. The structural report was a little bit more intensive than they had anticipated, but we are supposed to receive that this week. And then we are planning on meeting with them right after to figure out how they can shore the plans up. And then they're going to have to develop plans, which anticipate taking probably 8 weeks to do. And potentially taking a year to do the work anticipated, but it really depends upon when they actually get into it and how bad it truly is. So that's all I have.
Alderwoman Purchase?
Thank you. Thank you, Director Bottom, for that update, because I didn't know of that neither. And it's been said that I'm very rough on Public Works Department and our inspectors, but the only thing I can do is send an email and ask for a follow-up or say like what's going on. Otherwise, they have to keep coming in here and I have to hear it publicly to say, hey, oh, that is what's going on. Thanks for letting us know. So it'll just be nice if we can get an update when things go on. I'm not trying to ask like for one every week, but that's a really contentious situation over there. And I spoke to you last night letting you know too, like I'm on my way over to their neighborhood association meeting too. And they're asking me all these questions and I'm saying I'm in the dark just like you all are. I'm trying to wait for an update from the city. And I'm gonna try to remember too to make sure I send an email to ask for an update.
I just got the update about
Thank you.
5 minutes ago. Thanks.
When you do get it, can you share it with me? Because there's still some type of miscommunication going on between the Lincoln Towers building, just even communicating to the people who live there. So they depend on me to bring them back information, and I know it was a lot to bring you all together to do that meeting that we did over there, and I truly appreciate it, but I think we're gonna probably have to do a few more of those now that you said how long it's gonna take for that project to happen. And you have people that's over 80, 90 years old that is still not enough spaces on the side that you did provide us with, but they're gonna have to walk from that parking lot back to their unit.
They gave the 89 and 90-year-old people parking space.
Okay.
We'd like to know when this next meeting is gonna come.
I'm gonna work on it, but let them get us back the information so we got something to bring you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Nate. Any other discussion? Yep. You have to come up and state your name for the council. We'd appreciate it.
Self-authentication. My name is Jermaine Jones, Isaac Jones. Peace and blessings to you all. Happy Mother's Day and happy Dad's Days to you all. Self-authentication. I just would like to know, do we have a city hall here? This is it? So you all are familiar, this is City Hall?
This is the next door.
Right, so quasi-criminal, is that a part of City Hall as well?
Actually, a tenant of the county. Court
Kinda with the
cases, you mean?
county? Okay, then we know it's also City Hall, right?
Well, the
Quasi-criminal under the 65 ILCS? Okay, all right.
I'd have to
One more.
ask the attorney on that one.
Corporate counsel?
Well, if you're referring to ordinarily, it's circuit court would be handling most of those type of issues, you know, either criminal or things of that nature. We do code enforcement, which is in this building, for example, but ultimately it does end up over at the circuit court, which is the county building.
Okay.
So all we handle is our own administrative court dealing with parking tickets, property code violations. Everything else on the legal matters is.
And also you say under what we call nuisances.
Right.
You know, like murders, kidnappings, armed robberies, things.
That's
No?
all over the county.
County? Okay. 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 You say county. Compiled statute says something else. Well, what we have here is you say money about the 45 million being introduced and the business that you all are doing with Star, not Star, Legacy. It's all the same. Star, Legacy, Damon Johnson, all that stuff is like the same energy. What I would like to know is, just out of self-authentication, you know, we all self-represented. It's Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, right? Tribal. How can we admit to getting or us having on the east side for our protection and our safety an embassy? An embassy, you know, under Illinois compiled statutes, you know, public domain, embassy for the protections of people, children who are like dying in these streets or being shot while these wars are going on, people who track down people who do illegal paperwork in this city. How can we have an embassy, since you don't want to put a athletic complex? We don't want that. We don't need that. We want to protect our babies, our men and our women, and we're born and raised here. From the people that come here to do business, that you all do business with on us, that's on the outside jurisdiction of this city. How is it that we're 18% of the population here, but we've 74% of the population in Sangamon County Jail with only one bunk? That's a threat. And that's not only just a threat, it's on a state line. That jurisdiction outside where they trafficking people is on a state jurisdiction. That's a state line, 9th Street. I can't even shut it down because it belongs to the state right now. But they traffic in persons, they traffic in children. And we all like we got our eyes closed doing business right here like this is not City Hall. The City Hall that I always had seen in Gotham City was Batman. City Hall, they did business and they did it on the crime. But you all giving police forces money, $3 million, $4 million, giving money to the people that's doing business on us that don't live with us. It's an insult and it's a disrespect. This city has not even admitted to just denouncing racism since 1908. No, 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 no. It's not what, yes, we have, because see, y'all said some things about Joe James, may he rest in peace and smile in peace. The city council said things, y'all never apologized. Y'all said he need to get his swift punishment immediately. But that was the city council then. But I'm still stating, how can we get an embassy on the east side of Springfield? And I want to be the one that want to be the representative and the host and the respective host on that representation without you all, but with your all's partnership. How do we engage that conversation? Do we got to unite Ward 2 and Ward 3, Ward Williams?
He said on the east side. Have you spoke to your alderman?
Yeah, we spoke to the alderman, especially about Genesis City, Illinois. Remember?
Oh, yes, but your alderman is, I think, Alderman Gregory. But I'll say this, those kind of questions, I don't think we can answer. At least I know I, as an alderman, can't answer. I would have to defer to corporate counsel. That's above my head on how to do an embassy.
Everything that I bring to y'all is above y'all head, man. I don't get it, bro. Alderman Roy Williams.
If you know, either you asking me or you telling me. I'm giving you my answer. I'm giving you my answer. I don't know.
Corporate counsel.
Point of order, time's up.
Right. Time's up.
So we can, we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting, and you and I can talk about what's happening on.
We need to have a real engagement with our community, not just with me. How about having a town hall engagement with the community, a convention for us?
Just did
Yeah,
that.
we
just did
Okay.
board meeting.
Actually, there's some activities that are happening.
This
And
is
so
not
we-
about an embassy, Ward 6, Kristen DeCencio.
The sun
So
DeCenso.
if you'd address your comments to the chair, but we can go over the whole list of initiatives that we have and been working on. So we can do that off the mic. Because it's going to take probably 10 minutes. So if you stick around, we'll go over some items and see what else you have concerns about.
Embassy,
So,
tribal.
Mayor, time's up. Let's go.
is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. We're adjourned.